Advent candles. First, we'll light the Christ candle with this because it's very official. So, I light the Christ candle saying that Christ in me is awake now, as I said before, because you and I both can affirm that Christ in me is awake now a million times a day if we want. It won't hurt us. It will only make us aware that, oh, I am present in the presence, and that's a very important thing. So I'm going to light this connector candle, is what I call it. The first week of Advent was the week of hope. Learning the difference between hope and faith. That within hope, hope is about the future and faith is about the present, and we need both. We need both because we are always planning some sort of a future, but we're planning it right now with the faith that I'm allowed to hope, I'm allowed to dream, I'm allowed to wish. And then we light the candle of peace that we lit last week. Let there be peace in earth, as Unity co-founders Charles Fillmore said. And let it begin with who? Me. And then this week we have it's joy. So we relight the candle of peace. Oh, that was like magic. And then, come on, I know you can do it. We light the candle of joy. There's a wonderful Bible statement that says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord. Think of it this way. The joy of divine law is my strength. The joy of my practice is my strength. The joy of my knowing is my strength. So it is. Next week we'll light the pink one of love. So now we're back here. I had this one. Thank you, Steve. So I feel like we're on a 50s TV show. And I really value it. This brings about a lot of happiness for me because I choose to be happy with doing this kind of stuff, and I choose for it. The joy of the Lord is my strength. Imagine the joy of the Lord. Now I had to learn early on to Lord did not mean a God up in the sky. That I had to get more practical with it all. And so the joy of the Lord being the joy of law. Lord, I equate Lord with law, divine law. So whenever I see the word Lord in the Bible, I always think law. Because law is always active. One cannot escape divine law. And when one chooses to align one's thoughts and behaviors and words and what have you with divine law, one is really safe to experience tremendous joy, the innate joy that is within us. Joy isn't something we choose. Joy is something we just have and are. Happiness, we can choose happiness. Things make us happy, but, those things are always temporary. There's no thing that makes us eternally happy. We have to keep looking for new things to make us happy. But joy is something in our gut, as it were. Isn't that nice? But, joy sits here. Peace sits here. That which is of God. It sits here in one of the 12 divine mind faculties, 12 powers, is order. It's right here behind the navel. And it sits there. They stem from there into our psyche, into our consciousness, into our awareness. And so you can know on what you would call your worst day, there can still be a sense of joy, and you can experience peace because there is more to this, what I call worst day, than meets the eye. There is always more here that's happening than what I'm aware of, than what I have words for. And so that's important. That's very important to know. You would say in these times. Do you know how many years of my life I've been hearing in these times? A lot of them. Oh, so many of them. Now I know a lot of times have gotten worse than they were. And so, we don't want them worse than they've been lately, do we? And so let's work at taking them up rather than criticizing these times so much. Let's start finding things to praise. So the other night I was watching something with someone. I can imagine who, but we were it was a documentary on someone that we had great admiration for, and David started to say something about, well, it's not like that. And I said, no, we can't do that. We're here to praise. We're here to praise what we're watching. We are watching this because it fills us with hope. It fills us. It enhances our faith in good. And so, with that, we don't want to be talking about the absence of the very thing we're enjoying here. And I recommend this to everyone. When you are going through life and something you love, something that just inspires you, let it inspire you instead of thinking, well, that doesn't happen anymore. It's like, oh, no. Don't do that. Don't bring it down. Be the thing you love. And so let life, on life's terms, inspire you to either behave as you want to or keep you from behaving as you don't want to. But to continually criticize, especially publicly, but even in your own private thoughts, if you keep saying what's wrong in the world, that's what you start to believe in. And you start to cover over your joy. It doesn't mean the joy is gone. It just means you can't recognize it. And we want to recognize our joy. It's innate within us. We might as well go ahead and experience it. Misery is not innate within us. A lot of us have had a lot of experiences that have left us wretched and miserable. Amazing Grace, people get so offended when it's like, it saved a wretch like me. I'm not a wretch. Well, I think you are, some of you. And it's only because you have forgotten your God self. When I forget my God self, I am a wretch. I did a talk several months, I don't know if it was this year or last, it might have been in 2019, about saving grace. And about that very line in there, a wretch like me. When I forget my God self, when I forget my divinity, I am wretched. I get confused. I do things that are not in my highest interest in order to find the joy of the Lord. I instead find things to comfort and assuage. Now, sometimes it's sugar. Sometimes it is complaining. It's criticizing. It's swearing. It's being unkind. It's, all those things that we think are so awful when they're done to us. When we see our best friends hurting themselves through this thing, and some of us don't have enough empathy in us to love them through it, so we just criticize them through it because it scares us. It scares us that we could lose our friend. And when we go to that place, we start to forget to appreciate our friend right here and right now. And I'm working heavily on this. It is a mission of mine. Because remember, our church mission, our Unity Center of Norwalk, our mission is to continually discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. So if that is our mission, it's my mission, and it's your mission. If this is your church, if Unity Center of Norwalk is your church, then you are the church, and therefore your mission is to continually discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. Our mission is to continually discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. If you forget that, go to our website, www.unitycenternorwalk.org. It's right there on the front page. Our mission. I couldn't tell you what our vision is right now to save myself, but I know we have one, and it's a good one, and it's about the good of all. Do you remember it, Diane? No, of course not. We never placed the emphasis on the vision that we did on the mission. And it's okay. The vision is right there on the website, and you can look it up because hopefully I'm going to remember right after this service to go look it up myself. It would be really great if I instilled that in my memory. Nevertheless, my mission is to continually, that's the operative word there, discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. And so to do that, you got to change the thoughts. You got to rethink. I was with a healing group on Friday, and my topic was rethink things. If you're not at peace, if you're not at joy, look at the situation and rethink it. And rethink it with spirit. As I have said relentlessly, go within and ask that highest voice within you. Tell me what to think about this. Tell me what to think. I'm open, I am willing. And so rethink it. And say, oh, there's joy here. Now I know it's not always an overnight process. It's not always an instantaneous process. I've had a few resentments over the years that I have prayed on, and I'm working through them. I'm finding the willingness and the openness and the sensibility. Because sometimes, we want to go out and we want to make our amends right away, or we want peace right away. And we go to people and we say, I want to talk to you about what you did to me, but I want to do it peacefully and joyfully. And you did this, and this. Well, that rarely brings about the willingness for both of us to experience peace, because if the other one doesn't feel like they have done these things, or doesn't yet have any understanding of what they did, or just doesn't agree, then two people are still going to stay at odds, and forgiveness will not have taken place. And we will start to mask over the joy again. It's like, I could be happy if they would just be nice to me. I was at a place this morning where somebody wasn't so nice to me before I came to church, and it's like, they should be nicer. They should. And it's like, really? They weren't though, Shawn. And it was clear it was not going to become a discussion of manners amongst people or a better attitude. So I had to accept, okay, they are in a position today where they're in a mood, and I can still love them. And if I can't love them at first, I can start to love myself through it. And as soon as I start loving myself, it's inevitable I will start loving them. But if I start to think my life is somehow insufficient, incomplete, that there's something wrong with my life because they are in it, I miss out on joy. Kevin just sang that beautiful song, Joy to the World, Joy to all the boys and girls. We are the boys and girls at all ages, boys and girls of all ages, because there is a child active and present in each and every one of us. For some, it is an ageless child, but it's still a child that has feelings and has emotions. And we can be kind to that child, and then we can be kind to that child and that child and that child and that child. And but no child, none, including ourselves, ought ever be left out of the equation. It's very important to be all-inclusive when it comes to the awareness of the child. I used to be in quite a mood years ago before in an old job of mine, and I had a reputation for it. And some people were kind enough to know that I was a very hurt child, and I didn't know how to get out of that hurt so much, and so I was lashing out in a lot of places because I was so afraid of making a mistake. I hurt so much, I was so alone, and everything I did, and I wasn't aware of it at the time, I did to maintain the loneliness. Everything I did pushed people further away, or not everything, but a lot of things pushed people away rather than bringing them toward me to embrace me. And there were a couple of people who just decided to see through that, and they came toward me anyway, and they loved me until I learned how to love myself. And as I learned how to love myself, I learned how to love not just the people who were nice to me, but I can't tell you all people, but that's not true. I did learn how to love all people. Now I'm working on liking everybody. And I'm not liking their behaviors necessarily, but knowing that they're all my species. A friend of mine put that to me once. Of course, I love people. They're all my species. And I thought, that is the coolest thing. He is not discerning between individual personalities. All beings are his species. And so therefore, they must all be embraced. And if I want to experience my joy, well, then I have to start embracing my whole species. And all beings. They can have 2 legs, 4 legs, 1 leg, no legs. All beings. Imagine joy to the world, joy to all the boys and girls. I used to sing a song in church when I was a kid. And that song said, Kenneth, I know you know this song. I've got this joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Thank you. Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay, and I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of God in my heart. I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of God down in my heart. That's a little bit weird. It used to be a different word we sing, but I like God. And then there's, I've got that wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer down deep in the depths of my heart. Where? Deep in the depths of my heart. Where? Deep in the depths of my heart, I've got that wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer down deep in the depths of my heart. Deep in the depths of my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of God down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of God down in my heart. Then I've got that peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart, I've got that peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. You know it. I learned that in Vacation Bible School. And I liked it. And the second and third verse were reversed. I couldn't remember the second one there about peace. But to sing those kind of songs, they're called joy songs. And those joy songs are prayers. And they open up our conscious awareness for joy. They open up our conscious awareness as a beloved child of God. And with that, we keep calling forth more joy into our conscious awareness. And then we will call forth more joy. Karen Drucker, big New Thought writer, one of my favorite things she wrote is, God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. And a song like that is just so lovely. It's lovely. The Every Little Cell song, I don't know if Every Little Cell song is so much a joy song as a absolute prayer of healing, an absolute prayer of wholeness, or is it a prayer of absolute healing? Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. It's hard to sing that and be sad, I'll tell you. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. Every little cell in my body is healthy. Every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is healthy and well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is healthy and well. And then I started doing every little thought in my mind is healthy. Every little thought in my mind is well. Every little thought in my mind is healthy. Every little thought in my mind is well. See, there's all sorts of joyful things you can be singing. You can be participating in your life. Interrupt that other stuff so that the joy of the coming, of the awakening of the Christ in you can happen now. Don't put it off till later. Let it happen now. The joy of the Lord is our strength. The joy of the Lord is your strength. The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord, the joy of the awakening, the joy of peace and love and faith is my strength. So, today, let us wish joy to all the boys and girls. Thank you.